Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our regular town council meeting. Tonight is Monday, March 20th, 2023, 7 p.m. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Councilman Catanzaro to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you for that. This evening, we do not have any presentations and we do not have a public hearing. So item 3, minutes of the previous meeting. May I have a motion, please?
Madam Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Underwood.
motion to approve the minutes of March 6, 2023 regular meeting, March 9, 2023 special meeting, March 9, 2023 public hearing, March 13, 2023 special meeting.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any additions or corrections to the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Announcements and reports. Do we have any announcements or reports tonight?
Madam Chair,
Rosemary?
I did attend the Library Board of Trustees last Tuesday night. They had a meeting. The new member was there, Barbara Davison, that we appointed some weeks ago. And there was a relatively short agenda. They are still keeping on top of the pending state legislation on the cost of ebooks to libraries and a few other matters.
Okay. Okay, anything else? You're all set with that? Okay. Does anybody else have anything to report? Okay, we'll move along. To appointments and resignations. I don't see any on the agenda tonight. Do we have any others that we may be aware of that need to be taken care of? Nope, okay. Number 6, Board of Education. Hi, Lori. You have something for us tonight? I do. Great.
Okay, the high school cheer team participated in the CIAC state championship and took first place, becoming number 1 in their class for 22-23 season and securing another extremely prestigious title for Plainville. PHS hosted the Boys Swimming Conference Championship at PHS on March 3rd. Out of 42 swims completed on the PHS team, 21 were best times. The boys swim team participated in the state championship last Wednesday, and the PHS robotics team completed its first season in Massachusetts on February 18th for a final competition before the online challenge is due, of which the team submitted an entry form, and fingers crossed it will work out. A prom dress drive and sale will take place prior to the junior and senior proms. Foster White, fellow board member, was awarded the Connecticut Association of Schools 2023 Distinguished Friend of Education Award at the board meeting last Monday night. And the Board of Education approved 2 PHS course proposals, Greek mythology and critical reading, writing, and testing. Both courses are electives. Lastly, let's see here. The Board of Education approved, I did that. Due to the new board agreement with the Teachers Collective Bargaining Unit, EAP, the board has approved changes to the 23-24 school calendars. The first day of school for 23-24, the first day of school has been changed to August 31st, and a teacher professional development day has been added, which will be on October 6th. The April vacation has changed from April 15th to the 19th to April 8th to the 12th. And the last day of school is going to be scheduled for June 12th. Students will now go for 181 days instead of 180. And for 24-25, the first day of school has been changed to August 30th. A professional teacher professional development day has been added for October 11th. And the last day of school is going to be scheduled for June 13th. Students will now go to school for, again, 181 instead of the 180. And the Plainville High School PAC will be sponsoring a bottle can recycling drive on April 22nd. All donated items must be placed in bags. Please call the high school for more information. And last but not least, the all-town choir, which took place on March 9th, was a great success at the high school. And that's all I have for today.
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you, Lori. Okay, report of the town attorney, Attorney Mastriani. Did you have anything for us tonight?
Good evening, Madam Chair. I do not.
Okay, thanks for being with us. Moving it along at a quick pace here tonight. Report of the town manager, Michael?
Yes,
Your
good
turn.
evening. We'll report on 5 items plus the dashboard, and then I'll turn things over to Andy for the happenings. But item number 1 is the Emergency Management Performance Grant Supplemental. So this is a state grant that will fund the preparation of our local emergency operations plan, the LEOP, which is a comprehensive risk-based all hazards approach document that outlines an agency or organization how they will respond to an emergency. And so this is an item that will be covered under new business, and it'll be to adopt the resolution for the submission of a supplemental grant application to the state of Connecticut for fiscal year 2020 for the preparation of an LEOP, the local emergency operations plan. So this is going back, and that's why it's labeled Emergency Management Performance Grant Supplemental, because we're going back to amend the 2020 and allow funds to develop that, and the fire marshal is at work on composing that plan. So that's a work in progress. Item number 2, Balloon Festival parking. So as the council is well aware, plans are underway to bring back the Hot Air Balloon Festival to Plainville for this year, 2023, in August. The planning committee is recommending the event charge a nominal fee for parking to offset expenses. And since the event uses off-site parking at town properties, primarily the high school, Robertson Airport, the town council, acting as the parking authority, will need to authorize the establishment of a fee for the 2-day event. So there's an item under new business to authorize a parking fee of $5, which is the recommended suggested fee for the designated parking locations as part of the 2023 Hot Air Balloon Festival in Plainville. So there'll be an action item for you. Item number 3 is an update on the White Oak redevelopment project. And so quite a bit going on there. The project is moving along on a number of fronts, but remains a complex undertaking given the number of issues surrounding environmental cleanup, brownfield remediation, economic development, and of course, all of the regulations and paperwork that goes with that. The title search has not yet been finalized, as there are 3 outstanding easement issues that need to be resolved. And thanks, Attorney Mastriani, working diligently on those issues in terms of a river deed, a drainage easement, and a prescriptive easement. Attorney Mastriani is also working with DECD to finalize the financial assistance agreement documents, and then once approved, the town will have access to funding and will be able to move forward with acquiring the property. The environmental scope is under review and will require an extension of our agreement with Manafort to carry out an additional study. The need for an extension arose from the additional assessment work, Tig and Bond, completed under Amendment 2, if you recall, which included the further building and soil groundwater testing to delineate the contamination rate, basically the scope there. And so further details can be found in a memo provided by Cal Halberger, along with a preliminary development drawing. So the committee continues. It is a work in progress. It's just a lot to coordinate with the state to keep pushing the applications and documents back and forth. So it's a work in progress. We keep inching our way closer, and hopefully, keep maybe we can even, move things along a little bit faster if we can. I know this is a very high-profile type project, and we want to see shovels on the ground, and I'm sure that's what everybody would like to see. So that's our goal. We'll continue to endeavor to do that. Item 4, I added this as an item for the council. It's not something that comes up often, but the town was notified by Representative Hayes' office, but also Senator Blumenthal and Murphy also as well. I should restate that fact that all three of our members of Congress have informed us about an opportunity to submit requests under their community project funding program for 2024. So I put together an application both for Representative Hayes and then there was a joint process for Senator Blumenthal and Murphy. So we've submitted on both the Senate and the House side. So that will go forward. And the request from the district will be funded through various government funding bills. And in part of this process, there was a quick turnaround time. So, I want to say thanks to Andy and staff members and the Aviation Commission, so forth, really coming together for you, Kathy, as chair, and the council to in terms of support for the airport. And it was easy to get the letters from the community in terms of support, which is great, which is important because what they go through the process here is through different departments. And so looking at the opportunities, what really emerged quite quickly was the fact that Robertson Airport would likely be the best choice to submit an application for based on the Department of Transportation's existing program called the Airport Improvement Program, the AIP. So that's how, through the internal process came up that this would be the best application, give us the best chances. And so as FAA has designated, Robertson Airport is a reliever airport and is important in the system for FAA because it acts as a reliever airport for Bradley International Airport. So important there to get that in. The funding request, the specifics, the actual the total project cost will be $1.3 million. And that's the request. The federal share will be $1,235,000 we'll be asking for with a $65,000 local match if awarded. Again, like the previous grant I spoke to the council about last meeting about the Assistance to Firefighter grant, it's in terms of if funded, if awarded, then we'd be on the hook for the local match. So funds would be used for the construction of two 20-unit nested T hangars, and this project is identified in the master plan and the airport layout plan as something that, from the long-term sustainability, viability of the airport is necessary. Although Robertson Airport is a well-equipped municipal airport, it lacks adequate space for individual aircraft and is missing out on an opportunity to diversify its revenue stream, which would further enhance the long-term viability of operations. And went back into the plan and the study that was done a few years ago that identified that the market could sustain additional hangar space, and they had calculated at that time that the airport was short about 42 spaces in terms of hangar space. So that's how that process was derived to come up with the T hangars, and the airport layout plan had designated a certain location in extending the airport within the footprint of the airport, so there's no acquisition of land. It fits right within the airport grounds. So process is very competitive. We're hoping to hear, I think, by the end of April?
Early April.
Oh, yeah, sometime in April. And it's got to go through its process on both the House and the Senate side, and we'll see where it scores out and see what happens there. But it's an item I've added under new business so that the council can approve the submission of the grant, which is due today, and again, commit to providing a 5% local match if awarded under this program. So that is item number 4. And item 5 is an FYI, not an action item, but more of an update on the Whiting Street reconstruction project. The town engineers working with the state of Connecticut Department of Transportation on a proposed project to reconstruct the pavement on Whiting Street from Broad Street to Fairview Avenue. The project is in the semifinal design stage. The town of Plainville is proposing to mill the existing pavement surface to a depth of approximately 5 inches on certain sections of Whiting Street and excavate to a depth of 17 inches on other sections of Whiting Street from Broad Street to Fairview Avenue, and install approximately 2,000 linear feet of new bituminous concrete pavement. A preliminary estimate of the construction cost indicates the project will be approximately $2,725,000, and it's anticipated that the state of Connecticut will be picking up the entire cost of the project through their local transportation capital improvement program, LOTSIP, which is good news. Part of that process, the town and state policy to keep the public informed and involved in such projects. It's important that the community shares its concerns and comments to assist within the project's development. So as part of that process, that they've set up a public informational meeting, which will be held on March 29th at 7 p.m. here at the Municipal Center. So again, open to the public, but wanted the council to be aware that that process will get underway, and there'll be input from the public, I'm sure, as a major traffic artery within town. It's going to have some impact. So it's another opportunity to get the word out and publicize this date. That's the 5 items I have, and now I'll transition to dashboard, unless there are any questions.
Michael, the meeting on March 29th, will be hosted by the town or by the DOT?
I believe it's posted by DOT. I'll check with
Okay.
John Bossy, the engineer. Unless he's given something to Cindy, it's probably a state process by which they
Okay.
send the
Yep.
the posting out and so forth.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Turning to dashboard, we are 8 months in, so these are numbers as of February 28th of this year, and the top line, looking at the budget of $66,110,220, we're now at $42,423,778, which represents 64.17% expended, just under the 2-year average of 64.84. So again, I sound like a broken record, but the trend is the same pretty much across the board. I see nothing at this point out of the ordinary, only actually just positive trends, and we'll get to that in a second. But on the left side, the general government budget also trending at this point through 2028 at percent spent at 69.74%, which is under the 2-year average of 70.73. And on the Board of Education side, percentage spent 60.83 under the 2-year average of 61.24%. So again, running right in line, just a hair under the 2-year average. In the yellow box, probably the most significant information in terms of dollars and cents is the police overtime budget amount of $550,000 through 8 months. Only 50% spent, or $275,507, leaving a balance of $275, and we're 8 months in. So that's a pretty good trend at this point. So hope that holds true. Roadways overtime, 76% expended. So they actually, is reported in the box there. I probably will change things around a little bit to add another box, because I think it's a little misleading. Not misleading, but it doesn't tell the full picture that basically what I think you want to know is the balance is $18,269. So it is over. The 2-year average was over in terms of 83,000. The budget of is 76,895. We're at 58,626. So 76% expended at this point on roadways overtime, leaving a balance of 18,000. Now I don't expect,
I don't have a crystal ball, but again, there's still a few months left, 4 months left, and 18,000 left there. Building and grounds overtime, even less of the 25,625 budgeted. They're also 76%, 57% expended, which leaves them a balance of 6,000 for the rest of the year in terms of overtime. And again, knock on wood, hopefully we're clear of storms as we roll into the next item there, roadways snow overtime, which is a budget of $53,325. They've only spent $7,083. That represents 13.28% of the budget expended. Leaves them a balance of $46,000 in the snow budget there. For roadways. On the building and grounds overtime, the budget is $26,158. To date, to the date of February 28th, they've spent $7,471 for 28.56% of the budget, leaving a balance of $18,687. So, if you got rough numbers, top line, police with some overtime unexpended, and the snow budgets, between the two snow budgets, you're over 60,000 in terms of unexpended funds. So again, it could be it's still March, anything could happen, but positive trends there in terms of actually thinking that there might be some money to turn back at the end. So on the other side, on the right-hand side, we have the numbers for the municipal solid waste tonnage through February 28th with a budget of $422,400. They have come under in terms of the tonnage. Expenditures to date are $246,363, so they're 58% spent at this point, 8 months in. So that looks okay, but below them on the next green box there is the recycling, and even though the tonnage looks good there in both boxes, both the municipal solid waste and the recycling. The tonnage trend has been down in both categories, and that's been consistent since the beginning of the year. However, the problem with the recycling is that the budget was $54,180. We've spent to date $69,925, so we're over budget by $15,745, and that reflects the fact that we budgeted for a tipping fee on recycling that was much lower than what actually exists out there in the market. So there are some adjustments we need to be made there as we go forward. So I'll be talking with Rob about that and trying to figure out again, for the state of Connecticut, not just Plainville, getting a handle on the turmoil or chaos of recyclings and municipal solid waste is, I wouldn't say chaos, maybe is a strong word, but it's not a pretty picture out there with that. On the revenue side, next page, revenues look fine, right in line, at just running just a hair under at 87%, 87.27% collected received, the 2-year average of 88.84%, so just a hair under. And I think, and talking with Rob, that I understand it as just a timing issue there in terms of payments. The interesting thing to look at is on the right side, on the current taxes and the box to the right, looking at the percentage received thus far through February 28, 99.28%, which is kind of an anomaly, quite frankly, to be that high at this point over the 98.69%. So it's a good indicator that we're not chasing that. People are paying at 90, and we're collecting 99.28%. So that's pretty significant because I mean, it matters in terms of percentage collected. So that kind of jumped out. So Rob is probing that to see if there's any correlation that he can draw to that. But it's a good number. It's a good number. Nothing unchanged on the next box for unassigned fund balance. Unfortunately, we do not have the numbers from the audit yet. Talking with Rob, we're hoping that that's going to happen this week so that I can actually give you some updated numbers for the next meeting. Our next page are special funds. And of course, we have for their recreation fund budget expenditures. They have a budget of $270,020. Through February 28th, they've expended $141,990. That represents a percentage of 52.58% of their budget expended at this point. So running under and well under the 2-year average, as I've commented before, because of the COVID had skewed things a bit. So the 52%, I think Rob had mentioned is rather normal as they move into May and June, that they'll have their big expenditures when they open up the pool and programs and things of that nature, that the costs start to rise as they head into their season in terms of the summer season. So that's the difference there. On their same to be said on their revenue side to the right, $194,000 budget, $194,200. And through 2/28, $96,849, or roughly 49.87% received. And again, looking at spring and summer fees to come in, that will boost those numbers as well. Only 49% at this point, but looking to get boosted as they head into their big busy season. Robertson Airport expenditures budget at 86,050 through 2/28, 167 basically reflects the capital expenditures in that side, not the operational side. So that has skewed things a bit, as well as the other side on revenue. That's 120, but showing 349, as I explained. That was the infusion of the ARPA dollars there, and so I think I tend to keep an eye on the airport fund balance, which is healthy at 323,914. So that, I think, is the area to focus on, and they have a number of things we're working through. Obviously, with the grant and the hangars would be wonderful, but getting through the lease that we're working on, getting through master plan update, and also getting through the roof projects and a few other things that we have going on there. So good news to report there at the airport. And also, I don't know if we had mentioned this, but they did pick up another tenant for Hangar 6, which is HTX Helicopters, which came over from Oxford, is bringing several pieces of equipment, helicopters. And so that is a helicopter school as well. So I think that bodes well for the airport community or the airport operations in terms of another unique feature of the airport to have not only helicopter, but a helicopter school. And it's growing. So they're paying rent, and that's great.
Yeah.
So good news there. On the water pollution control facility budget, a $4,245,107 budget through February 28th. They have expended $3,617,376, and that is 85%. And it's over the 2-year average of 67, and that's a reflection of the timing of the debt payments that were added in that weren't part of the last 2-year average. So that will be going forward. We'll see those debt payments in there, so that's why the numbers are running higher than running higher than the 2-year average. On the revenue side, also, the numbers are higher. The budget of $4,123,500 through 228 have received $4,732,144. So percent received 114%, 114.76%. That is a reflection of the collection for Trumbull Estates and Southridge that do in the Farmington area that Robert,
right.
that, yeah, previous
There's
town
assessment
manager
that they
Lee had
hadn't
picked
picked
up.
up.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
So those have, it's not only been fully captured in terms of those payment, in terms of back fees and back taxes there, but also going forwardly, catching up and catching those payments as they come in. So that's what's moving the numbers there.
Great.
So. On the Plainville Library budget side, everything looks in line, both expenditures, budget of $763,461 through February 28th, expended $467,239 for a percentage spent of 61.2%. The two-year average is 66.88, so they're running under their two-year average. And on their revenue side, a budget of $723,761. They've collected $509,896. So percentage received is 70.45%, right in line with the two-year average of 70.91%. Just a hair under, but right in line. So, nothing I see that's again out of the ordinary, and actually, pretty good numbers and within these special funds. And the last page is the major projects report, and really nothing changed there with respect to those items listed. But I did have a conversation with the Finance Director, Rob Buden, today, and I think what we're going to look at is updating this for the next go round in terms of the next meeting, in which I report to add some other projects that obviously we've talked about and haven't included, but would probably add to this list just so we can keep track of them, and try to get updates on Wheeler and Town Line Road. Remember, I discussed the $80,000. We're still trying to get on the project balance there some determination on whether or not we can reprogram those funds into other road projects. So that's got to work its way through the Council of Governments to see if they allow us, or the state will allow us to reprogram though. And I'm not sure we're going to have an answer on Wheeler School project. That's a state issue in terms of reimbursement. It's probably just one of those things that I'm not sure at this point. If you want to keep it there, we keep it there. But quite honestly, it could take even more than 3 to 5 years potentially to see that closeout of that. But we'll keep it there, and you just.
I think it's a good placeholder, just so we don't
just so we don't
forget,
lose
or,
it. Yeah.
we're kind of aware that that's done but not done.
Yeah, that's all I have at this point for
Okay?
financial dashboard.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, we'll hold our questions. Andy, do you want to do happenings? And then if we have questions for either of you, we'll do it at that point.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thanks, Andy.
So for the happenings, first with the transfer station. The transfer station on Granger Lane is set to open for the season on Saturday, April 8th. The hours of operation will be Saturdays only from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and the transfer station is open only to Plainville residents, and identification is required. Commercial vehicles and businesses are not permitted to discard materials there. There is a fee for the disposal of items, and there are a list of acceptable items, and you could find that at the Plainville website. And if you have any questions, you can call Public Works Administration at 860-793-0221, extension 7176.
Okay.
On the theme of trash collection, we have spring bulk cleanup. Both of these press releases were released in the past couple weeks. Spring bulk pickup is scheduled to start on Monday, April 10th, and it will end on Monday, June 26th. Plainville has an on-demand policy for the collection of bulk pickup, so residents who currently have curbside rubbish and recycling collection are eligible to receive one pickup per calendar year, free of charge, for acceptable large items that do not fit in normal waste collection. Please visit the Plainville Town website for a complete list of acceptable bulk items and instructions on how to request a pickup. Essentially, that consists of calling CWPM, the hauler we contract with, giving them a call and requesting a pickup for one of the Mondays during that time period. From the library, to register for any of the events of the library, please use the online calendar at www.plainvillect.com/library or call 860-793-1446. And all the programs are held in the Chase Auditorium. The first is Secret Connecticut with author Anastasia Mills Healy. This is on Saturday, March 25th at 2 p.m. Award-winning travel writer and editor Anastasia Mills Healy will discuss her book, Secret Connecticut, A Guide to the Weird, Wonderful, and Obscure. She will share stories about Connecticut residents who have done amazing things and whose names have been lost to history. Kind of fun. Piano and accordion concert, Tuesday, April 11th at 6 p.m. This is for grades 5 through 8. Pianists Mary Jane Peluso and Kyle Brzezowski will perform a medley of songs featuring ragtime music, as well as songs from American composer Leroy Anderson and the rock band Queen. Peter Peluso will also be joining them on the accordion. The World of Honeybee, Saturday, April 1st at 2 p.m. This is actually the one for grades 5 through 8. The previous one was open for all ages. The World of Honeybees for Saturday, April 1st. This is for young nature enthusiasts who will have a chance to learn all about the life of a honeybee and explore the differences between bee species from a professional beekeeper. From the Historical Society, in recognition of Women's History Month, the Plainville Historical Society is presenting Writing Women of Plainville on Saturday, March 25th at 1:30 p.m. This is at the Historic Center, 29 Pierce Street. The program will feature 9 writers, all of whom have roots in Plainville or who have lived in town. And you may email the Plainville Historical Society at plvhistorical@gmail.com with your name and your phone number to register. And lastly, from the Senior Center, again, for all of these programs, you can call the Senior Center to register or for more information. The number is 860-747-5728. And all programs are free and open to the public unless otherwise indicated. The first is Black History Beyond the Amistad, presented by the CT Historical Society. This is on Wednesday, March 22nd from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Tour items from the CT Historical Society representing insights into the civil rights movement and a spectrum of the Black experience here in Connecticut. Women to Women, Aging Gracefully and Confidently on Thursday, March 23rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Participants can choose from 4 different workshops on cardiac health, benefits of healthy sleep, brain health, or urinary health. And you can call the Senior Center for more information on the cost of that program and to register. Veterans Social Hour on Tuesday, March 28th at 10 a.m. This is conducted by Sherry Vo, the Veterans Liaison for the Hartford Healthcare Senior Services, and this is open to all veterans over 60 and their spouses. Caregiving Connections on Tuesday, March 28th at 10 a.m. Individuals providing 24/7 care are invited to join the support group to discuss their experiences and challenges. Self-Care for Good Health, Lunch and Learn. This is on Thursday, March 30th from noon to 1 p.m. You can register by March 22nd, and this does include a complimentary lunch. And at this event, you can learn simple changes that you can make to positively affect your own mental health. Book Buds, their March book is Shadow Play by Joseph O'Connor. They'll be meeting on March 31st at 10 a.m. And this is a historical fiction at its finest about the Lyceum Theatre in England. Books are now available at the library's front desk for anyone who'd like to join. This club or this book club is for members only, so if you'd like to sign up, you can reach out to the Senior Center. And finally, Help for Veterans. Eric Vickers, a Veterans Service Officer from the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs, will be at the Senior Center and available by appointment only, so you can call Eric Vickers at 203-805-6343 to schedule an appointment. And that is all I have.
Okay. Great. Thank you both for your report. Does anybody have questions or comments for either Michael or Andy with their information? All set? Okay. Good job. Thanks again. Okay, moving on to the public comment section of our meeting. At this time, we welcome the public to come to our podium. Please state your name and address. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak to the council. Does anybody wish to speak to the council? Yep, John? Can you, would you turn that on for us, please?
Okay, John Kislick, 65 Forestville Avenue. I have an issue with this balloon thing, and I'm probably the only one who has the courage to come up here and tell you because it's such a strong thing, but I'm really upset that the town council also jumped on this bandwagon. I was at a meeting here when a person from the fire department was so negative in everything he said about it, it was like he was ready to tell you they're not doing it anymore. He said the state police were going to shut it down on 72. The park is too small. There's such a boondoggle of cars all the way across from 72 to 177, and they also go and they put a barricade up at South Washington Street at Town Line Road. Then they put another barricade up to enter Broad Street from Route 10 at the Dairy Queen for probably a bus to run every half hour. And there's a church on that road. That's a really busy road. They've been acting like there's no public in here, no citizens or whatsoever. They have no concern for the public and what we're up against with this boondoggle of traffic jams. It's not policed right either. The intersection never had a policeman on it. Now we'll go into the cost. You already started costs on this. The town manager has time in it. Now with the town involved, you're going to have the finance department in there too. Several years ago, I filed freedom of information for cost for the town with police, building and grounds, and roadways. Plus the town was paying half the cost of an insurance policy. And I'm sure that's gone up now. Every salary's gone up now. The figures I came up with, and if this town counts every minute that every paid town employee works on this from now to the end, you're more than $50,000, and I'm being conservative. Now, the way I look at it, the town is going to pay, the taxpayer is going to pay $50,000 to entertain people from out of town. That's wrong. That's completely wrong. I got one more thing. Councilman Wazirko is my go-to man because he's the longest serving, most qualified, knowledgeable council member.
Uh-oh. This is going to hurt.
I have a warranty deed from Charles and Elizabeth Norton to the town of Plainville, dated August 8, 1928. This is important, so I hope you just let me finish. The conveyance of this title from the grantors to the grantee herein, the foregoing and above described land is conditioned that said land shall be used by the grantee for the purpose of a public park to be used and enjoyed by the people in town of Plainville or other such persons as may be permitted the use thereof. And it'll be under the control of whoever the town appoints, a park commission or whatever. Now, as a further condition, as a part of consideration for this conveyance, said grantee agrees that said park shall not be used for horse racing, circuses, carnivals, nor the playing of professional baseball games. Now, the way I look at it, this is a carnival. Like the saying goes, you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig. You can put a balloon on a carnival. This is a carnival. This meets the criteria of a carnival. Look it up in the dictionary. It is a carnival by all the activities.
What do you define a carnival as? Can you define that for me?
Sure.
Define it.
All these rides and
What rides?
And food. Whatever
What
they do,
balloons?
balloon rides, whatever they're doing, stuff
Yeah.
for the kiddies. The amount of people coming there is part of what qualifies it. Now, there's one more part.
I don't know, John. I don't think it's a carnival, but we can define that further.
Nor shall the Board of Park Commissioners be prevented from granting concessions for privilege of a commercial nature for the refreshments and amusement.
Can you talk into the mic so everybody can hear you? We're having, if you can move that down so it's better for you. Thank you.
Nor shall the Board of Park Commissioners be prevented from granting concessions for the privilege of a commercial nature for the refreshments, amusements of patrons of the park, or for matters pertaining to and relating to community interest. Said charges all to be under the direction of Board of Park Commissioners, and all income therefrom shall be expended to the development and maintenance of said park. Now, what you're arguing with me, Kathy, I'd like to ask that Attorney Mastriani give us a legal opinion of this and see. But I believe if this went to court, I believe the court would agree with this thing. This is something that the Nortons gave us, and I'm surprised that this council, I don't know if all of you agreed or not, agreed to violate a warranty deed. You got to look at this. Councilman Wazirko can share it with you, but this fits a carnival, and this should not be done. The park is too small, and the town gets completely disrupted. It's not worth it. They say they're going to come up with $20,000 profit. You're going to expend $50,000 yourself. You took $5,000 away from a Veterans Commission committee, and you're going to waste $50,000 on a circus or carnival? That's wrong. This is wrong. This council's got to rethink this. The fire department wanted to end this, and you should have let them end it because it's a boondoggle for the town. It's bad. And I'm not the only person who feels this way. It's just I'm the only one who's going to come up here and tell you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Does anybody else wish to speak to the council that has not done so? Lou?
Lou Frango, 10 Fairbanks Street. Just a quick comment on the dashboard. If I noticed, and this was what caught my eye, the police overtime. And help me reading this correctly. We're actually, I see a drop of $124,000 in police overtime. Is that how that's? Am I reading that correctly?
Yes, it's under the budgeted amount.
Well, the reason
it's coming in at this point in time. This reflects the end of February. We have spent that much, $124,898 less than budgeted.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm bringing this up is this has always been how many years now a bugaboo. We get buried in the police overtime. Does anybody have an answer? I'm not searching. I'm just asking, what has been done differently? I mean, I compliment you. Believe me when I ask
Yeah,
the question.
we're happy about it, too.
I looked at this and I kept looking. I said, maybe you don't understand this.
Well, sometimes, from what little bit I do know about the police overtime, sometimes it occurs when there's officers that are out injured, So that does account for overtime where we have to fill slots, and there's we have to have so many officers on a shift at one time. So fortunately, we haven't had as many perhaps as in the past. There's been a different schedule of rotation of police officers developed. So some of those things come into play.
Well, I compliment them, and the new chief and the town manager also.
I don't know if there's anything else, Michael, that you can add to that.
No, I think, Madam Chair, that you are right on point, that it is a function of no credit to me. I'm not a part of the equation. I think all the credit goes to the chief and the department, but I think the nail you hit on the head was the fact that it's all about the personnel. The council, as you know, has appointed several officers and to fill the ranks in the personnel. So they are not shy any personnel at this point. So that has a big bearing on their overtime budget, and that's what's being played out here. So when they're at full complement, you're going to see less use of overtime, and I think that's what's playing out here. In addition to the chief and scheduling, a different approach and so forth. I don't know all the details of the scheduling and personnel, but I think that's essentially the driver in that budget number.
Again, the reason I bring it up is all the years of coming to town council meetings, I can never remember seeing this. I sat there confused. Secondly, and I'll end on this, I'd like to take this opportunity to compliment our town manager and our staff and his staff for the very smooth transition since the leaving of Mr. Lee. And I thank you for it, and I'm sure the town does too.
Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. I don't see anybody else here for public comment, so I'm going to close that portion of our meeting. We do not have any old business, so we'll go right into new business items. May I have a motion for item number 1?
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to adopt a resolution regarding the Emergency Management Performance Grant Supplemental.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, please.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion for the Town Council acting as the parking authority to authorize a parking fee in the amount of $5 in designated parking locations for the 2023 Hot Air Balloon Festival.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 3, please.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
motion to approve and authorize the town manager to submit a community project funding request for the construction of additional hangars at Robertson Airport.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to establish a public hearing on Monday, April 3rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. in the Municipal Center to hear public comment on the Town Council's fiscal year 2024 proposed budget.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Number 5, please.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to set the location of the annual town meeting for the purpose of voting on the Town Council's proposed fiscal year 2024 budget at the Plainville Firehouse, Tuesday, April 25th, 2023, for the hours of 6 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Underwood?
motion to approve the tax refunds as listed on the addendum.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Other discussions of interest. We have the Fire Department Incident Report, which is part of our packet. So I don't know if you've all had a chance to look at that, but if you have any questions, I'm sure you can speak to the town manager or our fire chief. Is it our fire chief that prepares that for us?
Yeah, actually, I think it might be coming from the fire marshal.
Oh,
but
fire
as
marshal.
through their
Oh, I
department,
meant
yeah.
that. I meant that, yeah.
Okay.
The fire marshal. Yep, thank you. Okay, if there are no questions, we do not have an executive session right now. Anything else you'd like to add before we close out?
No, I don't think there's anything other than the wrapping up the budget
Right.
process tomorrow. And we had talked about potentially an earlier start, but Madam Chair, understanding your schedule, I think it's fine with everyone
Yeah.
to proceed at 6:30. And we'll have Rob Buden maybe kick off if you prefer to kind of start things off at 6:30.
Okay, so are we going to 6:30 or 6?
6:30.
6:30, okay. Is
fine.
everybody all right with that? I apologize.
No, that's
It's
fine.
been a,
Not a
know,
problem.
a change in my requirements where I have to be.
Understandable.
So I will certainly be here for that. Great, thank you for that.
And Madam Chair?
Yes,
just
Mr.
before we
Wazorko.
adjourn for the night, we did hand out, this is a copy of what Mr. Kislick was reading from as far as the Norton, when the actual
Oh, okay.
Norton Trust
This
was
is the,
established.
Is this like the deed or the?
This is the deed, yes.
Thank you, Mike.
So
Okay,
that's what he was pulling out a few, and you could see where it was highlighted if you go through the pages. That's the information he was reading from during public comment. So just, so everybody has a copy of what he was
Okay.
talking about.
well, if we could ask the town attorney to just quickly, we don't need this now, but if you could just let us know that, in your opinion, the balloon festival is allowed. I mean, this has been going on for 30-some-odd years, and I would suspect if we were in violation of any agreement or any kind of stipulation, this would have come up sooner.
I would agree. I believe there might actually have been an opinion written about this back
Okay.
several years ago. So I'm going to check the opinion files
Okay,
to see if there's one there.
that would be nice.
But I believe this was brought up several times before.
Okay, Well, just so that we know, I will not presume to know the answer to that, but I would assume that we're in firm ground in what we've been doing. So just to clarify that, that would be helpful.
I think so too.
Great, thank you so much for that. Thank you for passing it along. Okay. If there is nothing else from any of the council members or town staff, I will then ask for a motion to adjourn, please, and we will meet here tomorrow at 6:30. And we did get your,
Yeah, just one other item, right, just.
did you want to go over that, or
Well,
wait till tomorrow?
I think it's pretty, I
Yep.
want everybody to know that there's a little bit of extra work on the budget, that there's a one-pager highlighted that helps reduce the increase. And so we're happy to, to walk through that, but essentially 3 areas that we had talked about, which was the insurance savings on the Board of Ed side, which is highlighted up top, along with debt service adjustment, and then fund balance adjustment, basically using the same amount that we currently use at 1.4 million, and so that helps get to the bottom line. It just is a.
Quick question, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but except for the board health insurance piece, these are kind of like new things.
These are yes, revised numbers, if you will, in
If we
terms
were
of,
to-
if you would like to go,
Scenario, so to speak.
yes,
Right.
right, a strategy, if you will, or scenario, a recommendation that if you would like to go down this path, you can get to that number of an increase of
Sorry
0.79.
to interrupt, I just wanted.
Nope, that's right.
Right. We had preliminarily discussed getting the mill rate down to a 0.75 increase versus what was proposed in the budget. And these are options as to how we could get there.
Okay, now, just wanted to be sure of that.
Yep.
Just,
We'll talk about it tomorrow, too. Go ahead.
okay, just one quick question, though, the additional appropriation of the fund balance. So it looked like from the dashboard that the fund balance right now is at 19%, or a little bit over 19%, and this would just bring it down to,
14.
this would bring it down to 14%,
No,
correct?
well,
That's what it looked
Yeah.
like on the dashboard.
Projected for June
For
of this year was 14.
it'll be down to 14 once
Right,
these
and
come off.
Well, one of these was already on the budget, the 600,000 was already on there.
Right,
so-
in Michael's proposed budget. It was the 16.
Right. So see, right up here?
Yep. Oops,
So-
sorry.
Sorry, I moved it.
Yeah,
But-
without the audited numbers, hard to know
Okay,
where
got
we
it.
finally landed.
Okay.
But it's safe to say, I think, that if you again, I'm suggesting you move to the number you currently have, 1.4 million
Okay.
of fund balance, that you use the same number to help you get to a 3/4 mil increase.
Okay.
That's suggested, so
Okay.
one way to get there.
I just want- Okay, thank you.
Without,
For
again,
clarifying.
obviously without going into, cutting services.
Of course.
That was the goal.
Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Are there any other questions about this proposed solution to our budget? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for putting it together. It's certainly helpful to see this is a possibility as to where we can get to our goal, if the goal is still the same for everybody. And then we will meet tomorrow night at 6:30
Absolutely.
to finish up our budget. Hopefully, we'll have that all done by tomorrow night.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And now, may I have a motion to adjourn if there's nothing
So
else?
moved. Madam Chair, so moved.
Okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much.